Gang stalking is an operation where many things are done in order to keep the target confused. One of those things is speaking to the target in a manner that is nonsensical. For example, my brother's sister told me that you told her how much I owe you. So I wanted to ask you if you could tell me how much was owed to you by me. Or, my 67 Mustang has a horsepower of 110, but if I change carburetors from a Holly 162 to a Elderbrock 285, it can add the 4 horsepower that I want it to have. So I need to know what is the thread of the mounting plate bolts, especially the one in the uppermost left corner if you're looking south. So a lot of people spoke to me like this, 8 hours a day, every day for 3 years, 3 fucking years. And I became so good at understanding speech like that. But during the first year, it was incredibly difficult because I was not used to people talking to me like that. So gang stalkers will talk to you in such a confusing manner in order to get your mind tired. That type of harassment is a direct attack on your cognitive prowess. The intent of that is to make your mind tired so that you are more susceptible to gang stalking, to the gang stalking narrative that it is trying to be imposed on you by these perpetrators. This purposeful speech that is meant to confuse the target has another effect that is not talked about, which is assuming that anyone who actively confuses the target via speech will be considered a gang stalker, even when their intention is not to confuse the target. It is simply that the subject in itself is confusing. There is a huge differentiation between speech that is meant to confuse you and speech about a topic that is confusing itself. The truth of the matter is that auto parts are very straightforward, and the distinction between purposeful confusion and a confusing subject, even though it's very visible and very obvious, you can dress up any question or any subject, regardless of how simple it is, in a way that confuses the listener further. And when many people speak to the target in a manner that is confusing, the target will tie in the sense of confusion with the assumption that the driver of the confusion is a gang stalker. So the target makes person confusing the target equal gang stalker, even when confusing the target was not the purpose of that conversation. So the crux of the video is that having a lot of people confuse you purposefully to fuck you will tie in the emotion of being confused with the assumption that whoever is confusing the target is a gang stalker. So if you're a target, just know that if you're confused all the time, people are purposely confusing you. And what that is doing to you is imposing on you the perception that whomever makes you feel confused is a gang stalker. That is the programming. The programming is to make you assume that whoever is confusing you is a gang stalker. So if you're in a situation where people are confusing you constantly and continuously, my suggestion is to disengage completely from these people, because things are not going to get better until you disengage. All right, that's all for this video. Bye.